Hey there, welcome to your wonderful, fabulous life. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about turning your pain, that thing that has been attempting to keep you in a place of lack and defeat, into power, where nothing stops you from being everything you were designed to be. Get ready, it's coming right up.
We are closer, closer than before. We are closer with God's power.
Welcome to your wonderful, fabulous life. My name is Rhonda Crawford, and it is an absolute honor to be in the company of a wonderful, fabulous person like you. Now, today we're talking about turning your pain into power. And when I say pain, I'm referring to anything in your life that you know is existing right now that is limiting you from experiencing the full life that God has designed for you to walk in. Now, that could be a physical ailment, it could be a lost or broken relationship, it could be something that happened in your past, it could be a fear, it could be something or circumstance that seems like it will never ever change. You go to bed and hoping when you wake up in the morning things will be different, but it's always the same. Anything that seems to be just kind of nagging at you on the inside and really chipping away at your self-esteem. But see, I want you to know something, and that is this: your pain should never define your person. But the person who has the greatest say in what will define you is you. So today we're going to go on the offensive, and we're going to turn that thing that the enemy meant for our demise, that thing that has been this source of pain that may have been in our lives for years, or something that may have just come up and really has been strongly coming against us. We're going on the offensive to turn that thing around so that we end up being defined by the power of God at work in and through us. So here we go. So the first way we turn our pain into power is by doing this: taking the limits off of God and what He wants to do in our lives. So how do we do that? Well, one of the most powerful ways to take the limits off of God in your life is to change the words of your mouth. And if you read Psalm 78, about verse 41, it talks about the fact that God's people limited the Holy One of Israel. And if you look back in the book of Exodus in the Old Testament, the book of Deuteronomy, it gives an account of God moving His people from actually delivering them from being slaves in Egypt over into this promised land, which was the end destination that He had for them. And it took 40 years in the desert, which was not the plan of how long God wanted it to take. He wanted it to be a lot shorter. But these people that God loved and that He was working to deliver had a bad habit of complaining. And see, when we're complaining and we're just in this place of speaking doubt all the time and speaking the negative things that we see and talking about how things will never change, what we're doing is creating an image on the inside of us and really using our imagination to see a negative future, the future that we really don't want. And really, that's a negative use of faith. And so what I want to submit to you today is to kind of flip that around and allow that image and picture of our future that we have on the inside to be determined by what God says and what God promises that He will do for us and that He has designed for us, and allowing our faith to be in that image instead of the negative one. And when we get to that place where our faith is in the image of what God has said and determined and promised that He would give us, we begin to say, you know what, Lord, thank you. I'm looking at something and it doesn't look good right now, but instead of speaking what I see, I'm going to speak what you've revealed to me, you promised me will come to pass in my life. I'm going to thank you for doing what you said that you would do for me. I'm going to allow that to be the picture of my future that I see. I'm going to allow that to shape what I'm expecting. And as a result, I'm going to free you up, Father, to do whatever it is you want to do in my life. All right, so we see that we need to take the limits off of God. But now the second thing we need to do to turn our pain into power is to take the limits off of ourselves. And how do we do that? Well, firstly, we do that by making the decision to stop believing the enemy's fake news about yourself. His fake news and what you can be, what you can have, and what you can do. And they're all really based on challenging circumstances, challenging situations that may have happened that creates this kind of dialogue that tells you this will never change, you can never have this, you can never grow to this place, you can never be successful in this arena, your personality won't allow you to do this thing that is on your heart to do, because you messed up over here, this relationship will never be rectified and will never come back together because of something going on with you, then this thing that you really want to see happen is never going to happen. All of that is fake news, and it limits ourselves, because even when God is able to do many great things in our lives, if we don't see that he can do them through us, we're back at square one. So now, what's our action step for taking the limits off of ourselves? Well, it's this: making ourselves available vessels for God to use to do whatever he wants in us and through us. Let me read this scripture to you. It's in Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. It says this: now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. Now he says here that he's giving praise to the one that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we can ask or think. And when you think about that, that just sounds amazing, that God is able to do more than what I ask, more than what I think. I mean, if I think of something really great, something really big, something that's never been done before, God can do more. He can do abundantly above that. But here's the catch. It says that he does all that according to the power that's at work in us. See, God can do exceeding abundantly great, magnanimous things, but he does them through people. He does the exceeding abundantly through us, and he wants to do it through you. And so when we make the decision to yield ourselves as vessels to God, that's when we get to see the pain transformed by the power of God that's at work on the inside of us, that is exceeding abundantly above, greater than any situation, any failure, any negative thing that we may have experienced in our lives. But it comes from us yielding ourselves to the one who has the power to do it. You know what? Let me share this statement with you. Your problem is not really your problem. It may just be the way that you're looking at your problem. You see, we can look at problems passively, or we can look at them actively. When we look at them passively, we see them as these just horrible things that have now manifested in our lives, that have the potential of keeping us in a place of defeat, keeping us in a place where we can not accomplish the things that are on our heart to do, and just kind of keeping us in this place of victimhood. But I want to share with you today to shift the way that you're looking at your problem. Instead of looking at it passively, which may have some truth to it, look at it actively. And when we look at problems actively, we look at them and we say this: well, yeah, this is a formidable problem that I'm looking at, but guess what? I've been made to solve problems. No matter how many times you've failed in the past, no matter how long you've been waiting for something to change, no matter how many people told you that something will never happen for you, no matter how many times you've had to do it over and over and over again, I want to encourage you, try one more time with God, in a position where you take the limits off of him and you take the limits off of yourself. I'm trusting this has been of value to you. And if so, I want to ask you to like, share, and comment, and join me here again next week as we continue to take the limits off of God and off of ourselves so that we can see great things come to pass. Be blessed and see you soon.